Le di las instrucciones en el camerino, vamos a hacer una pelea limpia, que ganemos. Suerte, Dios los bendiga.
Well, Sergio, you called Ortiz's last fight against Mitsael back in June, and he was throwing the straight left hand at will. It looked effortless. It led to a pair of knockdowns. He said it's been his favorite punch since he was an amateur, and we got to be on high alert for that straight left hand from Ortiz, who you see with the white gloves on the left side of the screen.
Yeah, and he alternates it perfectly. He throws it straight and he loops it over the top. He comes in with the body shots. So it's the left hand that actually really makes this tall southpaw at 6 foot really special. That mean left hand that can come from any angle.
Colon pretty tall for himself, 5'9", both with wide frames. This would be Colon's biggest win to date for sure. And those introductions, they drew the loudest reaction. I know the place is getting more full, but they drew the loudest reaction from the fans. And Ortiz got the brunt of the boos.
We got 2 Puerto Ricans fighting, so yeah, both of them feel at home.
And they were chopping it up on local talk radio ahead of this fight. And Colon told us that he's the quiet kid. He doesn't like to talk too much. But Ortiz and his team, they took the trash talking to another level. Colon said, I couldn't stay quiet any longer. I had to give it back. So he thinks Ortiz was just trying to get to him mentally, but it wasn't working.
What I like about Ortiz is that, he's a very patient, calm puncher. You can see that he has power. He puts leverage behind those long shoulders and the long arms, but he really doesn't like to waste movement and punches. And anytime he throws with mean intentions. But he has good footwork too, so he's responsible behind it. He doesn't fall off balance for a tall fighter. When tall fighters square up or lose balance, they become the target because that height goes against them. But he stays upright. He fights responsibly. He's good on his feet, nice and athletic. So he's developing nicely as Ortiz.
Both fighters exchanging straight right hands moments ago. Ortiz from Toa out to Puerto Rico. It's roughly 30-minute drive west of the Roberto Clemente Coliseum. He started fighting on Miguel Cotto promoted shows here in Puerto Rico. But this is his second show at Matchroom since they signed him back in May.
Ortiz just missed with a straight left hand, which is his money punch right there. You can see he's trying to time Colon coming in.
Action from round number 1.
There's something you don't see that often is Ortiz leave his head in the line of fire to get countered back, but Colon threw a nice, well-timed shot. There's that left hand that just barely missed for Ortiz. It's a very accurate punch. He's an accurate puncher, William Ortiz, but making him miss like that, and Colon had a pretty decent round. Both of them had their moments.
Taz Colon trying to win his first fight, scheduled for 8 rounds. Good connect there. He moved to the Orlando area, a suburb of Orlando called Ocala back when he was 15, finished high school in the U.S. And he said he gets his work in Central Florida, goes to Miami frequently for sparring as well. Trains a lot with Gio La Roca. another young prospect.
Colon trying to time that straight right hand, trying to catch the southpaw coming in. But you can see how much bigger, William Ortiz is. The wide shoulders, the body when they stand in front of each other. Not only the height, just look at the width of their body. So Ortiz is definitely the bigger, taller, rangier fighter in this fight. But Colon has pretty good footwork and timing, so maybe he can break that distance with breaking that rhythm.
Yeah, Ortiz is a real unconventional frame for a 140-pounder. Broad shoulders. We talked about the height.
Yeah, Colon,
he gets his head snapped back by Ortiz with that straight left, Sergio.
Colon actually is pretty big for a 140-pounder, but he's dealing with someone that's just abnormally big in Ortiz.
There's the straight left again.
And he brought his foot over, which is something he normally doesn't do, but he did the responsible thing. He as soon as he fell off balance with that left hand, he dipped down. He didn't stand right back up. So you can see that he's a tall, athletic fighter that even when he squares up and falls off balance, he stays down so the counter won't get him. Those are things that you practice in the gym, Justin. You don't just come to under those lights and do stuff like that. I love seeing that from tall fighters.
Another 1-2 combo connected by Willito Colon, or Willito Ortiz rather. Colon staying composed. Trying to come back with a 3-punch combo.
Yeah, you can see that Colon's not trying to keep up with the volume and the punches of Ortiz. He's just trying to time, the right shots, especially with that straight right hand. Colon does have pretty good pop in that right hand if he can land it cleanly.
Willito Ortiz getting his timing down here in round number 2. Coming up tonight, our main event here in Puerto Rico, Liam Paro and Richardson Hitchins squaring off for Paro's IBF Junior Welterweight World Title. Both fighters coming in under the 10-pound rehydration limit this morning,
which was a concern in the Hitchins camp. He didn't like that last rehydration clause against Lemos, and he said it had a lot to do with his performance, but this time around looks a lot sharper, cleaner, like he made the weight comfortably and filled out nicely.
See if it translates into a good performance here in a world title shot tonight. And that main card coming up on DAZN at the top of the hour. Start of round 3. What are you liking so far from Ortiz?
Well, I like the fact that he still hasn't let Colon break the range. He's still keeping it. He's still fighting tall, and he's still looking for that straight laser-like left hand. But right now, Colon is actually being good with his upper body movement, good with his footwork. You can see how his reaction and time is there. So Ortiz is going to have to, break him down, chop him down. More jabs if you're William Ortiz to get the upper body to stay still of Colon.
When it comes to Willito Ortiz, Taz Colon thinks that he does not like getting attacked to the body. He thinks once he starts touching the body that Ortiz is going to back off, but we've yet to see any real body work from Colon.
I can tell you that every fighter doesn't like getting hit to the body. There's a good body shot by Ortiz, but those are things that you have to practice in sparring against taller fighters. You have to slip that jab and make sure you don't fall off balance or square up when you're trying to attack the body, because then you're going to be vulnerable to uppercuts. by the taller fighter. See, just like that, if he would have fell off balance and squared up, he would have been open from the bottom. And Ortiz does throw uppercuts. You know, he's a really good all-around fighter. Just needs experience under his belt.
Swiping right hand moments ago from Ortiz.
There's a nice foot feint there by Ortiz. I love seeing that. See, those are things that develop a young fighter even faster. You know, when you see stuff like that, foot feints and fighting off speed, not falling off balance, not squaring up, not smothering, you know that they're gonna develop a lot faster than other young pros.
Ortiz, the southpaw, keeping the lead foot on the outside. Continue to build the pattern. Good connect right there.
Good shot. Nice right hook. It wasn't a tight right hook. It was kind of a jab. You know, turned it into a hook in the last minute, but it connected nicely.
That jab snapped Colon's head back.
Yeah, and that's going to open up the front door for straight jabs now, because now Colon has to watch out for, is it going to be a right hook or is it going to be a straight right hand?
No pattern so far for Willito Ortiz.
Yeah, Ortiz is feeling it now. He's getting a nice rhythm.
Here comes Colon, trying to make an impression at the bell through 3 rounds.
Nice jab there by Ortiz. You can see. See, that's what I want to see by the taller fighters. Some jabs. You know, you got to get Colon to make mistakes. See, both these guys aren't really, they're fencing right now. They're kind of going jab for jab. What do you got to show me? What am I going to counter? But in order for Colon to start, you know, getting aggressive, you have to commit more to either those feints or the first punch, especially the jab.
Another jabs landing cleanly from Ortiz to open up round 4.
Like, notice what I meant by fencing, Justin. When one guy throws a jab, the other guy either leans back and comes back with the same punch. So it's kind of like neither of them wants to commit with their main hand, which is a left hand for the southpaw and right hand for the orthodox fighter. So they're just in front of each other, just posturing and fencing.
Colon trying to break that pattern there, and another jab blasts back the head of Colon.
You can see that the faster feet are with Ortiz. Colon's going to have a hard time breaking that distance if he doesn't have foot speeds. But he does have good timing. There, he landed 2 good shots. Not cleanly, but he definitely landed on something.
And both fighters trying to come through in their first fight scheduled for 8 rounds. Both putting their undefeated 6-0 records on the line. 2 Puerto Ricans, 2 6-0 records, and 2 fighters fighting 8 rounders for the first time. Yeah, good connect by Colon.
And both of them have similar power. You know, I could see right here that it's different type of power. Ortiz has that rangy power where he hurts you at the end of the punch, and Colon has the heavier power, I would say. Like when his punches land even on the shoulders of the gloves, you can see that they're heavier shots, slightly heavier.
Left lands again from Ortiz. And now he's starting to go to the body.
Good upper body movement there by Colon to break the distance, moving his upper body, not being a stationary target, and not giving Ortiz any confidence to land that jab, that long jab.
3-punch combo by Ortiz.
All those shots were blocked, you know. So as long as Colon doesn't just keep that earmuff defense and give an easy target to Ortiz, you know, those shots aren't going to affect him. But he just needs to come back with something right after. It was a good round for Ortiz, bouncing around, moving to his left, to his right.
Showing off the cleaner feet.
And showing the faster, quicker feet. Staying off the ropes as well.
We are through 4 between two Puerto Ricans going at it on the beautiful island.
El verano es infinito y las navidades son otra cosa. Desde que se prenden las primeras bombillitas en cada hogar, lo seguimos hasta los Reyes. Los intercambios se dan en cada esquina. Y los mejores regalos, los que van de la tierra a la mesa y los que hacen las manos de nuestros artesanos. Nos vamos de road trip por todo PR, conectando con nuestra música y nuestras tradiciones. Por eso, yo turisteo y parrandeo donde vivo. Porque aquí, el jolgorio es infinito. Con Muy Turisteando y la compañía de turismo de Puerto Rico.
There's the corner of Lionell Colon. Trying to make some adjustments as this fight enters the 5th round, again scheduled for 8. And 19-year-old Lionell Colon. Yes, he got his nickname Taz from the Looney Tunes character.
You made sure of that?
Yes. Who's your favorite Looney Tunes character?
The Wile E. Coyote. Ooh. Always in trouble, always getting smacked against that railroad track.
Similar traits, right?
Yeah. Tell me about it. Oof, nice left hand there. See, that's the thing about Ortiz. You could always watch out for that left hand because it could be straight like he did there, but on the inside, he turns into a hook. You know, mean left hand puncher for Ortiz. And the more he develops and the more confidence he gets, the more experience he builds, it's even going to be a lot more dangerous.
Clash of heads between the two fighters. Ooh, conditioning as that punch comes through.
Ortiz just missed with a big straight left hand right now that Colon didn't even see coming. He came in and left his chin in the air, and Ortiz just barely missed.
He was meeting that punch head on.
See that foot feint right there, Justin? That slight little foot feint by Ortiz got Colon to bite and throw a punch. It didn't cost him that time, but I love seeing that from young fighters, the power of a foot feint.
How does a prospect improve upon their footwork?
Well, you got to do that in the gym. You got to do it in sparring, and you got to it's repetition. You know, everything's repetitive in boxing. If you do it in the gym over and over and over, you don't even realize you're doing it once those lights are under you.
That 10,000 hour rule that applies to everything, right?
Absolutely.
Coming over the top of the left hand, Ortiz.
You know, instinct. Everything's instinct in boxing. You know, the real true character of a fighter comes out when the going gets tough. Everyone knows that, right? So you face adversity. How are you going to meet it? But whenever you're following a game plan that you've been working on and you've been doing consistently over and over in the gym, then it just comes naturally once it's time to fight and box.
Counter left from Ortiz.
Nice straight left hand right there. Just a beautiful one, too. And you can see that he's responsible enough, Ortiz, to step back, just like he did there, to see if anything coming back from Colon. And going back to that long jab. You know, whenever you get opponents to miss, they get frustrated, right? But then once you pop that jab in their face, that's a double frustration. It's like, I can't touch this guy, and then I'm getting popped anytime I back up.
And Ortiz doing just that, having some fun now. There's the salsa. What's the first step to regrouping here for that man on your screen?
Well, he hasn't figured out a way to close that distance, and he hasn't really been jabbing his way in. So I think he has to get a little bit more aggressive with that jab. You know, aim for the chest and bend those knees. Make yourself a smaller target. And there you get a headbutt, which you always see when the left-handed fighter fights a right-handed fighter. A nice clean right hand right there. See, but he landed something, but he didn't keep going because he didn't break the distance with that jab. Anytime Ortiz steps back, that's when you got to just really get aggressive with doubling and tripling the jab. You know, making that ring smaller and smaller for the taller fighter.
Here we go with round number 6, again scheduled for 8 for these two 6-0 fighters. And Willito Ortiz with the white gloves, Taz Colon with the red gloves. Ortiz has showed off the footwork there. He takes a step closer and mashes Colon with that straight left yet again. Ortiz real focused on that head. He's had success, obviously. Not many attempts trying to go to the body.
There's another left hand that just missed by Ortiz. This was another left. It was a left hook. It looked like it was going to unleash as a straight punch, but that's a sneaky shot. How he turns into a hook afterwards, and Colon hasn't seen those shots coming. His head's in the same place, but he's just lucky he hasn't been caught at the end of the punch. Good body shot there by Ortiz. Now he's switching it up. William Ortiz is switching it up now. He sees that Colon is slowing down. You know, there's not that much speed or pop in his punch anymore, and that's the reason he's getting his confidence, William Ortiz. He's starting to dominate and break down Colon.
Colon try and sort of regroup over the last third of this fight and make it interesting. Right now, Ortiz in cruise control. Not just judging by the work, as Colon may have lost his balance after taking the brunt of that punch, but just his body language, feeling loose, salsa dancing, going back to his corner after the last round.
Well, he's having fun. Look at how fluid he is unleashing those shots now. And he's doing it with confidence, with ease. And that's what you want to see with these southpaw snipers, not think too much. You know, because they have the advantage. They're facing a guy that is not accustomed to facing southpaws as much as they're accustomed to facing right-handed fighters. And that's the reason he's landing those shots now at will. Those are hard shots. And he's taking the fight out of Colon. It's not that he's imposing his power or will, Ortiz. He's imposing just his footwork and the fact that he's not giving Colon anything to hit back. He's discouraging him, dispiriting him.
The spirit for Taz Colon withering one step at a time by that fighter. Willito Ortiz looking very sharp here over the first 6 rounds of this fight.
Beautiful 1, 2, 3, nice and simple. Nothing landed nothing overpowered. Just nice, clean shots, and then going down, gutting them to the stomach, and then that makes Colon duck down to block the stomach. That just lands a straight left hand. Just beautiful punch selection by Ortiz, going from top to bottom. Nothing crazy special, nothing hurting him, but discouraging Colon from coming in.
This is new territory for these two pros. First 8-round fights. Here we go with round number 7. The 6-0 Willito Ortiz against the 6-0 Taz Colon. And Ortiz running away with this one through the first 6 rounds. See a small cut just to the left of the eye of Colon.
Colon looked tired. You know, he looked falling off balance now, even with a simple jab coming in. As soon as he misses, you can see that he squares up and his legs don't have as much a bounce to them. And there's still bounce in the legs of Ortiz.
Okay, stop. Stop.
Talked about the size of Ortiz. Again, standing at 6 foot, just 21 years of age. He only started boxing 7 years ago. Like, literally first time in the gym just 7 years ago. And you think about all he's accomplished in 7 years. Before that, he was a center in basketball.
Well, I mean, you know, starting off your career, I started fighting around 15 years old. It's a nice ripe age, you know. It's a little late, you know, for the amateurs, but you also have a longer shelf life as a professional because you started a little bit later, depending on the style of fighting that you learn, you know. And you could tell that Ortiz and Team Ortiz taught him how to box, not be too physical, so he should have a longer career.
Captured the bronze at the Pan Am Games in 2021. And that is the amateur achievement he said he's proud of most.
Beautiful straight 1-2 from that southpaw stance and backing up. You know, he's going in there, getting the 1-2 and then stepping back, waiting for a counter. Nothing comes, then he goes right back in. You could tell that he was a successful amateur just by that 1-2, because that's a southpaw's advantage. You know, I'm going to throw a straight, easy money punch. 1-2, step back, nothing comes, and I'm coming right back in. But if something does come, that's when you know what type of skill southpaw has. When he steps back and is able to counter an aggressive fighter.
Now administering some punishment. Final 15 seconds. Ortiz trying to put a licking on Colon.
I'll tell you what, man, he's really put a licking in and outclassing an undefeated fighter in Colon right now and taking the fight away from him.
Ortiz having a blast here in San Juan.
This is when a fighter's dangerous, when they're just having fun and everything, they're not even thinking, it's just snapping, snap punch. Anything that you're gonna throw my way, I'm gonna counter to it out of instinct, not even thinking. That's exactly what we're seeing in William Ortiz now. It's just not overthinking, not overloading, just barely making a miss and making a pay.
This replay was from round 7, absolutely, but that could have been from any of the previous 6 rounds. We wouldn't know it.
Absolutely, because he's still boxing on the same tempo, he's at the same speed with the same pop. And that's because of the footwork, and that's what he has over Colon. He has footwork, more athleticism, more bounce on his toes.
8th and final round between these two. Again, they chirped it up leading into this fight. A pair of 6-0 fighters, 121, another 19 years of age going at it here in Puerto Rico. To highlight our before the bell card leading into the main card for Paro and Hitchins later tonight on DAZN. Ortiz just peppering ahead of Colon with rights and lefts.
Yeah, because Colon is not jabbing. There's nothing that Ortiz has to be leery of. Nothing's coming back from Colon, even though right there he countered with something. But if there's no jab to keep you thinking, then it's pretty easy to just pot shot your opponent.
And it clashed heads there. Colon trying to counter off the jab. Been a puzzle that he has not solved here against Willito Ortiz.
Yeah, it's a tough puzzle to figure out is because you're dealing with an extremely tall southpaw that knows how to fight like a left-hander, doesn't take too many chances, has enough power to keep you honest, and he's fleet-footed. So very difficult style to confront, but those are the issues that Colon is facing and he can't figure out.
Does Ortiz to you seem like he's content with letting this wind down, or is he?
Yes.
Is he going for the stoppage here?
No. I think his last hurrah for the stoppage was that 7th round. You know, he had some really good moments. I think he had his best round, and Colon wasn't going anywhere. So now in the last round, you really don't want to take too much chances. You have this fight in the bag, and like I said earlier, you know, you put it on cruise control. You got it already.
Final minute of action here up before the bell.
You know, the last thing you want to give a hopeless fighter is any hope. You know, so you don't want to give him anything. You know, he's already a beaten fighter, a bloody fighter. He has no fight left, so just pot shot him all the way to the end.
Three-punch combo landed by Ortiz.
Yeah, but look at what came after that combo, Justin. It's that nice little pivot from the southpaw. I love that. I love seeing that from young fighters. You don't want to stand in front of your opponent too long, so you pepper him with 3 shots and then get that southpaw angle, start all over again.
Ortiz brought his dancing shoes tonight. A dominant display here by Ortiz in the main event on before the bell. 8 rounds in the books. Willito Magnifico here in San Juan. How's that for Spanish? All right.
You want to know the truth? Not that bueno, my friend. Yeah, man.
Ortiz looks like he could go another 6 rounds.
I was about to say, he still looks fresh. He still has his dancing shoes on, man, and he's feeling himself. And you can see who's not feeling himself. That man right there, just a beaten fighter. You know, this is his first loss of his career. Doesn't know how to respond or react, but he didn't know how to really. He had no answers tonight for a fighter that was just too sharp in William Ortiz. And credit to the corner of Ortiz because they did everything well. And you could tell whatever they practiced in the gym came to fruition because Ortiz really had a good time in there.
So Ortiz will likely improve to 7-0, while Colon, like Sergio said, will take his first defeat of his pro career.
I'm just noticing now, Justin, you're a southpaw. You're
am.
writing with your left hand.
That's right. I can't switch it up, though.
Oh, you can't?
Only against the bag.
You're ambidextrous.
Ortiz making a deal with Matchroom right at the beginning of the summer. Competed on the first show that they had here in June in Manatee, and now shining in San Juan on the undercard of Paro Hitchins. For a young prospect like this, how badly do you think they want to perhaps get an international fight, get a showdown in the U.S.?
Not too far.
Okay.
I would say a couple more fights. I mean, build a fan base here. Once you start getting into the double digits and victories with no hiccups, no bad fights, no tough losses, then you can go abroad.
Well, Willito Ortiz and Taz Colon, they conclude the action on the Before the Bell card. Main card is coming up in a little over 20 minutes from now on the Zone. And we are also closing in on making this one official. And we're good to go.
Damas y caballeros, después 8 asaltos de acción aquí en San Juan, vámonos a la decisión de los jueces. Todos los jueces harán lo mismo. 80-72. Todos por su ganador a decisión unánime y todavía invicto de Bayamón, Puerto Rico, William Willito Ortiz.
As expected, Willito Ortiz a winner by unanimous decision, and he improves to 7-0 with a dominant showing against Taz Colon to close out before the bell. So the native out of Bayamón giving the folks a show here at Roberto Clemente Coliseum. He improves to 7-0.